Hey Strawyak Critter, hope you're doing well, and today we're back with some more Minecraft Dungeons, and today I want to be trying to make the best melee-focused build. So I've actually already got this build all set up because I was working on it a bit off camera, trying to, get the right enchantments and everything, and this is what I've got. So on my armor, I of course have Reckless. This is going to take a lot of my health, but it is going to make my melee damage way more. It's kind of a glass cannon type situation. But I chose this armor because one, it already has that damage reduction, which is nice because of the Reckless. I kind of want that damage to be less when I am taking damage. And it has the Snowball Companion, which is just awesome. It's also 263, so I just get a lot of health in general, which I kind of need. When it takes 40% of my health, that's kind of a lot, so the more health, the better. And then next we have the health synergy, and this is when I use an artifact, I get some health back, and this is important for a different enchantment. I'll show you why later. And then finally, I have the life boost so that when I die, I get some of that extra health back. So if I'm getting kind of low, then I can get some of my health back, and that will, counteract the Reckless a little bit. And then for the actual melee, the sword, I have the Starless Knight just because it's one of the swords that I find does the most damage pretty consistently. Just because the claymores, they attack slow, but they are one of the highest dealing damage weapons, and I feel like this one is a pretty good one. I of course then have Pain Cycle, which can quadruple my damage. I have Void Strike that does a 600% multiplier, and then I have Critical Hit, which has a chance of dealing triple damage. And I know I could have put Dynamo on this, and that could have been pretty good, but to be honest, I don't really like Dynamo because unless you also have armor that goes very well with it, and you basically customize your armor just around Dynamo, it kind of sucks to use Dynamo because it takes like 20 minutes to just roll around on the ground trying to charge up your Dynamo. It's kind of annoying. So I want to make this a little bit more, I want to say practical, but I didn't want to spend 5 minutes just rolling around in circles trying to charge up Dynamo. But I do kind of want to try it out, so I might switch out one of these for Dynamo and just see if it would have made a difference. But I think right now, this is a pretty good set. And then for the bow, I just left it the harp crossbow because bow enchantments don't really affect your melee enchantments as far as I can tell. And then for the artifacts, we have the power shaker because this is just going to give me an extra like basically 2 million damage on top of whatever my sword's doing, which is pretty good. I have the satchel of elixirs because if I can always have strength, that's going to be great. And if I get strength and shadow brew, well, I'm going to be doing a lot of damage. And then I'm not actually using the Tome of Casting, I was just using this in the lobby area for testing purposes. And the actual one we're going to be using is probably the Boots of Swiftness, and there is a reason why. So, because I have the Pain Cycle, every time I attack, it's going to take 50,000 health. Which is kind of annoying when I already have 40% less health, because normally I'd be at like 3 million HP, and now I'm at 1.6 million, which is obviously a pretty big difference. And if I'm attacking, and just from attacking, I'm losing 50,000. That's not great. But if you remember, I have the health synergy, so every time I use an artifact, I get health, and it actually is 90,000. So that's basically 2 attacks worth of HP I get just from using an artifact. So I wanted to use an artifact that comes back very quick, and the Boots of Swiftness is basically the quickest artifact to come back. So I can just use this and get my health back, and so the Pain Cycle doesn't really counteract me as much as it would. But obviously, let's test this out a little bit. I'm just going to whack this Scarecrow here for a little bit and try to get one of the high numbers. Okay, there's a 300 million damage there. That was on a downstring, critical hit, everything like that, Pain Cycle. And I've actually, when I was playing off camera, I saw as high as 510 million, which is insane. That's the highest I've ever gotten. Before, it used to be I would do all this stuff and I could get like 200 million, like 150 million, but 500 million damage is insane. There we go. There's a 428 million damage one, and that is pretty insane. I didn't realize if that was on a critical hit or not. I think it probably was, because that's the only way I'm going to get that high, but that is crazy. Okay, well, now that we've seen kind of in theory how much this build can do damage-wise, let's of course actually try this out on an actual level, and I kind of want a level with a boss. So let's do Soggy Swamp. I'm kind of just going to speed run straight to the end, but it is going to be on Apocalypse plus 25. But I'm probably just going to run straight to the finish, that way I can kind of test this out on a boss. If I find some enchanted mobs, might try that out on them as well, just because. Let's see, so just some normal armored mobs. Oh gosh, I have so little health. But it still one-shots most mobs and kind of two-shots some others. And honestly, I might replace the Boots of Swiftness with something more like the Tome of Regeneration or the Satchel of Snacks, which I don't really love that artifact, but in this use case, it might be pretty helpful. Okay, so let's try the Satchel of Snacks. Oh, it only gives me one? I thought it gave me two. Huh. I got some bread, though, which is pretty good. Man, I am so little health. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does a lot of damage. I basically can one-shot armored mobs, which is pretty impressive. But the such little health, I am not a fan of because I'm used to playing this game like a tank, where I can just kind of run into any group of mobs and just wipe them out like that. But with this, where I have such little health, I have to be a little bit more careful. Okay, we got some enchanted witches here. One shot, let's go. Enchanted mobs are normally like pretty strong, so that's why I like to see what I can do against enchanted mobs, because those guys are normally pretty beefy. Can one-shot an armored illager as well, that's pretty good. Okay, we've got a pillager raid captain here who's known to be, you know, normally pretty beefy. So let's see how much damage we can do against this guy. Ooh, basically two-shot. That's pretty good. On Apocalypse plus 25 too. Let's see about these armored enchanted guys. Two-shot as well. Dang, that is some pretty insane damage. I don't love how low of health I am, but I feel like it is kind of necessary to be dealing the damage numbers that I am. Okay, I made it to the boss. Let's see how quickly we can take down this dude. I'm a little bit scared because this boss is just scary. Let's do that, and then that. Oh my gosh. Oh, dang it. Okay, I died, but that was like 4 hits. And this is on Apocalypse plus 25. That is kind of insane, actually. Also, life boost come into effect here. I'm now at 2.1 million. So that's like an extra 500,000 health. And I only died once, that's pretty good. So life boost, that is quite helpful. But I am gobsmacked. That is insane. Basically, I think that's like 5 hits to take out the Corrupt Cauldron on Apocalypse plus 25. That is, yeah, that's crazy. Let's see, just a casual 2 billion damage done. That's pretty good. And that was also me speed running most of the level. I was passing a lot of mobs by, just not even caring about them. That's crazy. Okay, because of how good that went, I want to try this on one other boss, and then I do want to try to get Dynamo on my sword because I want to see if that makes much of a difference. But first, let's go try this on the Mushroom Monstrosity. I'm just going to play this on Apocalypse plus 25, but I am going to, you know, just run straight to the boss, or as much as I can. There's so many mushrooms on this level, it's kind of hard to get straight to the boss. But I'm going to just try to speed run all the way there. Again, made it to the boss. There we go. Okay, strength, no Shadow Brew, which is kind of a bummer, but let's see. Oh, I did a lot of damage. Okay, I have to play this one a little bit more careful than I did with the Corrupt Cauldron, but I'm still doing a ton of damage. I'm not counting the hits as much. I should have been, oh, but there we go. It's still insanely fast how fast I took that dude down. I don't know how many hits that was, but I would have had to guess that's maybe like 10 or 15, somewhere in that range. Just, that is absolutely insane. That's probably the fastest I've ever taken down bosses on Apocalypse plus 25 as well. That was pretty crazy. Still 1 billion damage done, and that's me just running through most of the mushrooms. I'm floored at how well this build actually works. Okay, well, like I said, I do want to try to get Dynamo on this, so I think I'm going to get rid of Critical Hit, though, because it is such a low chance to trigger. I think Void Strike and Pain Cycle will be more helpful. Yes, okay, finally got Dynamo. For a second, I wasn't thinking it was possible, but I got it. Oh, shoot, I just realized I shouldn't have used Void Strike, because as soon as I hit this dude, it's going to use my Dynamo. Which means I'm not going to be able to get the Void Strike, and I should have gotten my Pain Cycle first. Oh, that really sucks. Okay, there we go. I have my max Dynamo, and honestly, I don't think this is going to do as much damage because I don't have Void Strike, and I don't have Critical Hit anymore. I'm still going to get my Strength. I'm going to make sure I'm on a downswing, and let's see. Yeah, 140 million. I was on a downswing, full Dynamo, Pain Cycle, everything like that. I don't think this is actually as good. Maybe if I re-rolled some of my other enchantments instead of Void Strike, I got Critical Hit, something like that. then maybe it would be better with Dynamo, but I think it's actually better with just critical hit. And Dynamo is so annoying because you have to spend like a couple of minutes just rolling around circles, and this is even some pretty good armor. It comes back quicker, it has multi-roll and stuff, but even then it takes like 2 or 3 minutes just rolling around in circles trying to charge it up, and I feel like in that time, with my other loadout, I could have just killed the boss. And oh wait, hold on, wait, I forgot to switch my armor back. So let's switch my armor back, have Reckless, and see if that does anything for this. So let me charge up Dynamo again, and let's see if that does any difference. But I don't think it's really gonna do much for this. Okay, got full Dynamo. Let's switch my armor back. Let's grab this, make sure we're on a downswing. 147 million. It's just not as much. Okay, well, I guess we had it right the first time then with critical hit. But there we have it. This is probably one of the most overpowered melee builds there is in the game, I would say. I can one-shot a lot of mobs, or 2 shots. I can like 5-shot some of the bosses, and then like 10 to 15 for like the really strong ones. That's pretty insane, and like I said, don't know what else I could really do to make this much stronger. I'm sure you guys have some ideas of how I can make this better, so let me know them down in the comments below. But sadly, that will have to do it for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you're new, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. If you like the video, new videos every Thursday, and remember to stay jolly.